Coming in at number 24 on our Locked On Senators NHL Draft Rankings, we're going to Sweden. We're going to Otto Stenberg.
Yes, a Frolunda prospect here. 5'11", 181 pounds, left shot, plays center or left wing. In 29 games in the J20 League, he had 11 goals and 15 assists, good for 26 points. He did have a decent amount of time in the SHL with Frolunda, had 3 points in 23 games. But Ross, where this kid really showed his talent was when he was the captain for Team Sweden in the U18s. 7 goals and 16 points in 7 games.
And what's very notable about that is that's played on a smaller ice surface, which is where he seems to play his best. He has great in-tight skill. He pulled off 2, not 1, 2 lacrosse-style goals. Ironically, we're about to profile a Michigan man in the next segment. And with that, you look at Otto Stenberg as a guy whose skill jumps off the charts. He's, like you mentioned, maybe a bit undersized, 5'11", 180. But now that Marchessault's won the Conn Smythe, maybe we're just going to see it trending smaller and smaller, kind of like it already has. But he's pretty consistent on the draft rankings outside of elite prospects, which will bring us to the obvious if you've noticed a trend for what makes elite prospects tick. We'll get to that. But Craig Button has him at 21st, Chris Peters at 22, Corey Pronman at 28, Scott Wheeler at 29, elite prospects down at 36. Pilsy, let me guess, skating is a concern for Otto Stenberg.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's his biggest concern here. But I don't know if I would say he's a bad skater. It's something that is kind of stalling his progression to be an even better player, because the skill is there. Like, this guy is a dual threat. He loves to have the puck on his stick. Although I do see him as more of a playmaker that can also finish rather than a finisher that can also make plays. But he sets his teammates up with ease. Once that puck is on his stick in the offensive zone, it's really hard for the opposing team to get it off. And he will be patient. He will dance around the offensive zone and keep that puck away from anyone until he finds the right play, and then he can set up his teammates. So I think Otto Stenberg, he's shown that he can get it done in the J20 League in Sweden. He's shown that at the U18s and the smaller ice, he can get it done. I would like to see him have a little bit more time in the SHL and see how that goes for him.
I think he projects as a winger at the next level.
I agree.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I agree. Just because I don't think he quite has the defensive side of that game to thrive as a centerman. And I just think he's someone that, you want someone to get the puck for him and then get open and get ready, and then he'll feed it back to you. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of the guy that he's the middleman between goals. He doesn't really start the play. He doesn't always finish the play, although he can. He's the guy that sets it up for the finisher.
I completely agree with your assessment of Otto Stenberg, and I would be thrilled if you're watching this right after your team drafted Otto Stenberg. You should be really excited, especially if you're a team where you're not looking for that 1A prospect. You're looking at more of a complementary player who can put up points. Like, he's not going to be like that dazzling, I don't think he's going to have a lot of 3-4 point games where he just takes over a game. But I think consistently with the skill and with the vision and IQ and shot that I believe is high end, the compete is high end for him, that he's going to be a guy who maybe he's the third best player on the line, but that line is in the top 6 and that line is contributing, I think, when it's all said and done. I hope he comes over to North America sooner rather than later, because if he excels on the small ice especially, and you want to acclimate him to your organization, I think maybe one more year, if that, with Frolunda. And then, it's a great program. You're not trying to get him out of there because you don't believe that he's going to be decent there, but you're also at a situation, and he's not signed, as far as I know. It's a junior contract that he's still on because he doesn't have that minutes played at the top level. But I foresee him being a very important player in a top 6 on an NHL team.
You know what player comparable just popped up for me, and I'm interested to get your opinion on this? A Riley Smith. What do you think about that? Because
I like that.
Right? Because he's not the top guy in Vegas, but put him on a line with Marchessault, William Karlsson, a scorer and another playmaker. And this guy can really thrive. And I think, he can go anywhere from 35 points to 60 points in a given year, just depending on kind of how things go. And I think Riley Smith, that's a dual threat option that you don't really look at as a sniper, but he can keep up with his teammates and set up good players. So I really think for Otto Stenberg, shades of Riley Smith is what popped into my head.
And the EP draft guide says it's shades of Thomas Tatar, which is a
Okay.
pretty
Yep.
similar comparison, right? He's competitive, but he's got skill. He'll go in low. He'll do what he needs to do with it. A dual threat, but at the same time, it's like, okay, is he going to drive the middle enough? Which is why, man, I don't know why he's even playing center right now. I think he should be moved to the wing ASAP and kind of just grind into that mindset that I'm going to compete down low. I know I have the hands and the shot that I can put up points, but at the end of the day, it's going to be his compete that brings him his paycheck in the NHL.
Yeah, and I mean this is a captain of Team Sweden at the U18s. There was a lot of talented kids on that team, so that goes to show you that not only does he have the talent, but he's got some leadership qualities as well. So I think any team that drafts Stenberg, they're going to be happy.
I think they're going to be extremely happy. And for more on Otto Stenberg, you can head over to our YouTube channel where you can find breakdowns of all the top 70 prospects coming up in the NHL draft. So that's Otto Stenberg, who, if your team takes Otto Stenberg, I think you're in for a treat. But where do you have a team that you like for him? Like when you look at that draft order, I see him, late teens, early 20s. Like, could he be a guy like the New York Rangers, where it's like, you know what I mean? Where they're competing to win now, and they don't need that, like, that, oh, he's going to be a high-end top 6 guy. All their top 6 guys are locked up, but this is a guy who could complement them eventually. Like, that's just a type of system that I want to see him go into.
Yeah, I think New York Rangers is a good one. They've got 23. I'm looking at the draft order now. I could see maybe a team like St. Louis liking him as well. Maybe a Minnesota. I think if I remember, his analytics are pretty favorable too. So that could be Seattle's calling card there. So I think any team from 20 to 25, that's a great spot.
I love what I'm seeing from Otto Stenberg. And if your team just took him, good times ahead for you.